This is the same bill that cut $1 trillion out of Medicaid and over $180 billion from SNAP.
If it's a terrible product, it should go broke. What we're finding out is that the government is insulated from this concept. They can have a terrible competition, no value, no merit, and still make a lot of profit off the customer, the students, who pay their life's blood for the rest of their life trying to pay off loans.
Did you just see that? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are breaking down a clip that is going viral for all the right reasons. We have Burgess Owens, a man who knows what it takes to win a Super Bowl and build a business, standing up to the radical rhetoric of Ilhan Omar. You already know the pattern with Ilhan Omar. It is always the same script: more government, more spending, more excuses. She is trying to convince people that if we do not pour trillions more into welfare programs, our children cannot learn. That is the ultimate victim narrative, and it is insulting to every hard-working American family. But Burgess Owens is not having it. He is about to deliver a serious reality check on how the radical left has spent the last 16 years weakening our education system while pretending to save it. This is not just a debate, this is a full dismantling of the woke education machine. Let us watch the full clip.
We've heard our Republican colleagues claim that their solution in the one big beautiful bill will somehow make college cheaper for working families. This is the same bill that cut $1 trillion out of Medicaid and over $180 billion from SNAP. The logic is hard to follow. By leaving millions without health care and struggling to buy groceries, higher education will apparently just become more accessible. It is no wonder that when the American people finally had the chance to see what was in this hideous bill, it was so unpopular that my Republican counterparts had to rebrand the name. But just because you put working families in the title doesn't mean you are not screwing them over. The reality is there is no amount of sugarcoating that can undo the damage that will be done by this disastrous legislation.
I want to start off with just, first of all, agreeing, Ms. Morgan, with your comments about how bad things are. Explosion of tuition, enrollment in which kids come in, they enroll, they quit, they leave with debt they'll never pay off, with job skills they'll never have, and not be able to really build the American dream. But this isn't from the last 6 months of the family working tax plan. It's from the last 16 years, when in 2010, President Obama, through the Affordable Care Act, took everything from the private sector and put it into the government. So the government has controlled this for the last 16 years. We cannot look at the last 6 months and say because our reforms, all these things are happening. We're now about to take care of that. I think the biggest thing that I'm concerned about is how little we know in our country about capitalism. We are the #1 destination in the world because of something called capitalism. Now, just quickly, what does capitalism mean, and what does it mean to this industry here? It's about return on investment. It's competition, it's merit, it's value, and the product of all that is profit. Now, if it's a good program, there's a lot of profit, which it should be. It should spread throughout the entire country. People should be wanting to take advantage of it. If it's a terrible product, it should go broke. What we're finding out is that the government is insulated from this concept. They can have a terrible competition, no value, no merit, and still make a lot of profit off the customer, the students, who pay their life's blood for the rest of their life trying to pay off loans. So we need to get back to teaching that. I think that when I listen to my friends here from Utah and Florida, I'll say this about Utah. We lead the country in terms of small business startups. There's an entrepreneurial concept. There's a culture in which we're trying to figure out how to give the best return on investment to where we're dealing with. And I think the same thing, the way I listen to how you guys are solving things, same thing with Florida. We need to realize that government solutions have never worked. I just came back from Latin America last week. They are realizing after the last couple of years, they want to get away from that stuff. So no, it is not the government that's going to give us the out of this. It's going to be entrepreneurs, innovators, those who truly are in the game for the right reasons. That is, to make sure our kids are #1, and not the institutions, not the professors, not those around just kind of sucking in everything they can from government payouts. So I'm excited about the fact that we're having this conversation. We can all agree it's broken. It's cost too much. We're getting too little of a return on investment with our kids coming out, not being prepared to go to work, not being hopeful for their future, being angry about everything, That's not what our education should be about. And the other thing is this: let's just make sure we're transparent enough that everyone realizes they don't have to go into debt to go to a four-year college. How about trades? If that could be their way out, if they could look at that as being their way to achieve their dreams, let them go for that. I think it's very helpful that we finally have competition for higher education. It's going to make higher education better. It's going to make sure that the best prove themselves, and outcomes will allow parents to say, okay, I will invest in this, or the kids will invest in this because it'll give me a good return on investment. And if it does not, then that institution should go broke, period. So I'm excited about the fact we're finally, over the last 6 months, putting in reforms. 6 months. So please, as you go back and think about how terrible things are, it's not because of the Republicans' one big, beautiful bill.
Period, end of story. Can we talk about the mic drop moment when Burgess Owens brought up Capitalism 101? He asked the simplest question the left does not want to answer: where is the return on investment? Think about it. If you buy a car that does not run, you get your money back. If you eat at a restaurant that serves garbage, it shuts down. But Ilhan Omar and her allies want to keep children locked in a system that produces massive debt and zero job skills, and they expect taxpayers to keep funding it no matter how badly it fails. Point 1: the dependency trap versus the American dream. The entire argument from Ilhan Omar is that without free food and free healthcare, students are too weak to succeed. That is not true. Burgess Owens makes it clear that the federal government took over the student loan system and turned higher education into a debt factory. Since 2010, Washington has had total control of federal student lending, and what do Americans have to show for it? Higher tuition and lower outcomes. Point 2: education is not just a humanities club. It was powerful when Burgess Owens brought up trade schools. Why are we pushing every 18-year-old into a 4-year degree that leaves them drowning in debt? America needs plumbers, electricians, welders, and builders. The American dream is about merit, value, and opportunity, not permanent dependence. Point 3: distraction and confusion. Ilhan Omar brings up programs like Medicaid and SNAP during a debate about college tuition because she does not have a direct solution for fixing education. It shifts attention away from administrative bloat and the cost structure that keeps rising while students graduate unprepared for real-world careers. Right now, Burgess Owens represents Utah in Congress and speaks openly about entrepreneurship, innovation, and self-reliance. He argues that excellence is created, not distributed. If you are tired of policies that weaken the middle class and replace opportunity with dependency, then this conversation matters. Burgess Owens laid out a blueprint: reduce bureaucracy, strengthen vocational pathways, and demand accountability for how education dollars are spent. What do you think? Is Ilhan Omar out of touch, or is this just standard political messaging? Share your thoughts below, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We are here every day breaking down the facts.